Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'll be showing you my recipe on seafood gumbo. I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get started. First, we're going to start off by preparing our different meats for our gumbo. For chicken, as you see me using here, leg quarters. I'm going to season with a little Cajun seasoning and rub that in. After you're done seasoning, we're going to put that in the oven at 375 and let that bake for about 45 minutes to an hour. Once your chicken is completely done, I'm going to take the meat off the bone and shred it up into a bowl here. Okay, once you're done with that, you can put it to the side and we're on to our next meat. For sausage here, I'm using all beef hot sausage and we're going to dice those up. We want to make sure the pieces are not too big, but also not too small. So after I'm done slicing my sausage, I went ahead and preheated a pan on a medium heat. I'm going to lightly fry these so when we enter into the gumbo, they're not so rubbery. So once you're done frying your sausage, it should look similar to this. It's slightly crisp, which will be perfect. Alrighty, we're moving right along. Now we're going to be working on our shrimp. I'm using colossal white shrimp, which are already deveined. I'm just going to peel these and then put those to the side. Okay, so we saved the best for last. Now we're going to be working with our blue crabs. Now I purchased already frozen blue crabs, but you can definitely buy them fresh. So what I like to do is break them in half, but you can definitely keep them whole. After I'm done doing that, I give them a quick rinse and you can put that off to the side. And there you have it. All of your different meats are already prepared to enter into your gumbo. We have our shrimp, our crab, our sausage, our chicken. Now let's go on to the next step. Now it's time to cut up our vegetables. For our gumbo, we'll be using green bell pepper, white onion, and also green onion. Now, as you see there, I went ahead and diced those up. Now we are going to saute these vegetables before we enter them into the gumbo. But before that, we're going to start working on our roux. Now it's time to start the part that most people dread the most, and that's making the roux. Now this part is very important. This can make or break your gumbo, but once you get the concept down pat, it's really not that bad. So I started by heating up my cast iron skillet with some oil. Once that was heated, I'm going to slowly enter in some flour. So as you see me doing here, I entered in the oil and the flour and I'm just mixing those two ingredients together. As you can see, it's still a little bit too oily, so I'm going to eventually add in a little bit more flour to make a thicker consistency. Now that I have achieved the consistency that I want, I'm just going to keep stirring. Make sure your heat's not too high so the roux doesn't burn. Now, as you can see, our roux has turned into like a peanut butter color, which is perfect. The ultimate goal for your roux is not only to have it at the right consistency, but to get it as dark as possible without letting it burn. As you see here, we got our roux a little bit darker. We're going to keep stirring and cooking the roux slow and steady. Alright guys, it's been roughly about an hour. We've got our roux exactly where we want it to be. The right consistency, the right color, and we're complete. Okay, so we're going to let that roux sit off to the side there, and now we're going to be working on cooking down our vegetables. So I went ahead and heated up a separate pan, added a little oil, and now we're going to cook those vegetables. So you want to roughly cook your vegetables for about 5 to 10 minutes. We want to cook them down so they're not so crunchy once we enter them into the gumbo. Okay guys, we're almost done. I went ahead and grabbed my gumbo pot. I filled the water about halfway, and once I started to see it boil, I went ahead and added about a cup of dried shrimp. Once you've added your dried shrimp, now it's time to go ahead and toss in your vegetables that you've cooked down. Now we're going to move on to our seasoning. First, I'll be adding in some Old Bay, and next I'll be adding in some Cajun seasoning. Now we're going to be adding in a little black pepper and also some garlic powder. Once you're done adding in your seasoning, you can go ahead and mix that all together. We're going to let this come to a boil and cook for about 10 to 15 minutes. So once your water has completely came to a boil, now it's time to start slowly adding in our roux. When adding in your roux, you want to make sure you're constantly stirring. It's going to start off very thick and dense, but once you're stirring, it's going to eventually dissolve from the heat. So after turning down our heat a little, I went ahead and added another spoonful of roux into our water. Now it's time to start adding in our meat. We're going to start off with adding in our sausage and our chicken. So for me personally, I like my gumbo a little bit thicker, and this is a little too watery for me, so I'm going to add in a little bit more roux. So after adding in a little bit more roux, I also added a little more seasoning off camera, but you can definitely season to your liking. So now that our consistency is where we want it, we're going to remove the pot from the heat, and now it's time to add in our seafood. So go ahead and toss in your shrimp and your crabs. Now this gumbo wouldn't be complete without adding in a little filet. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit in my hand. I'm going to toss that in, and this is going to provide a little bit more flavor and also thicken up your gumbo. And remember guys, when adding the filet, you don't need a lot. A little goes a long way. Now you see me doing here, I'm tossing in a little green onion and just giving our gumbo a stir. And we did it guys, we've made it to the end. You've officially prepared a delicious seafood gumbo. And as always, it's time to plate our dish. And remember, presentation is so important. Wow, this gumbo came out so perfect. The presentation is on point. The smell is delicious. I just can't wait to try it. And as always, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Until next time.